Welcome to Washington, East to West Sports. This is episode 15. I am Matt Beatty, joined alongside, as usual, by Sean Beatty and Kevin Ardall. And gentlemen, this is a weirder episode. It should be East to East Sports since I am now on the east side of the state with you guys. So, I feel it's a little colder over here, so I don't like it as much. But, we'll make do. It was pretty frosty on the drive over. Also, before we get into the abysmal Seattle Seahawks game from Sunday, we have to at least mention the Seattle Sounders. What a comeback win yesterday over the Minnesota. I honestly don't even know their full name, but they won in the Western Conference semifinals in a 3-2 come from behind victory with the stoppage time goal to get into their second straight MLS final, so they could be back-to-back champs. They beat the Columbus Crew on Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific, so everybody tune in for that, so that way we can root on our hometown Seattle team. You guys soccer fans? Sean, you a big soccer fan?
Yeah, I didn't get to watch this game, but I will say, I feel like we should be heavy favorites since our opponent played the lowest three seeds they possibly could play to get to the finals. They played the 8-7-6, so they haven't actually played anybody yet. There's a ton of upsets on the other side of the bracket, so they basically get the easiest road to the finals. So I expect the Sounders to take care of business because apparently the Sounders just don't care what the score is ever. And they dominate when they need to, and they just constantly just keep winning.
It's
So
true. It's true. Kevin, you soccer fan?
Not really particularly. I mean, I do follow the Sounders, and having majored in I guess you could say Latino culture and history and stuff like that. Soccer is a part of it. So I've learned like the history of how big it is down there for not only for Mexico, but other countries in South America, how big of the culture is for them. So I've been around it as a fan myself. I'm not a whole lot, but if it's the Sounders, I'll pay attention. And I've been to two Sounders games, so it was fun to see it. But I don't really watch it on TV though. I keep
Well,
checking.
I've got two championship Sounders sweatshirts. Would love to add a third, but let's get into some Seattle Seahawks stuff. So it was a tough game to watch on Sunday as the Seahawks lost to the New York Giants, 17-12. Just gonna throw some statistics out there very quickly. Russell Wilson, 27 of 43, 263, a touchdown, a pick. He was sacked 5 times, 78 quarterback rating. Chris Carson, 13 carries, 65 yards, no touchdowns. Leading receivers were DK Metcalf with 5 catches for 80 yards, no touchdowns. Tyler Lockett, 6 catches, 63 yards, no touchdowns. Chris Carson had 3 catches for 45 yards, no touchdown. And Will Dissly had 4 catches for 28 yards. And Jacob Hollister also got into the 3-catch column with 3 for 20. On the New York Giants side, 13 of 22 for 105, a touchdown and a pick for Colt McCoy in his first start in what feels like forever. Wayne Gallman, 16 carries, 135 yards, no touchdowns. Alfred Morris, 8 carries, 39 yards, a touchdown. He also had 1 catch for 6 yards and a touchdown. Evan Ingram and Golden Tate were the leading receivers for the New York Football Giants, 4 catches each, about 30 yards each. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Jamal Adams for the Seahawks, the leading tackler, 11 tackles, 8 solo tackles, a sack, tackle for loss, and a quarterback hit. And then on the other side, Blake Martinez was the leading tackler. That guy, along with Bobby Wagner, are usually leading the league in tackles. So, gentlemen, I am going to start off with something I created yesterday randomly. Let's play the blame game. So, who deserves the most blame for this loss? I can start if you want me to.
go for it.
Okay.
Sure.
So, the offensive line is fairly beat up, but I am not going to blame this on the offensive line. I think this squarely falls on the shoulders of Russell Wilson. Russ just did not look comfortable back in the pocket. Now, granted, obviously that's part of the offensive line woes, but overall, he held on the ball too long, did not make great decisions with the football. And when the whole, premise of the offense is to let Russ cook, I mean, you had, 40 something attempts and just couldn't get it done. You got to give some credit to the New York Giants defense. New York Giants defense was very solid in this game. They got after Russ. They rushed him a lot. But ultimately, I think that this loss falls on Russell Wilson. And, at this point, he's out of the MVP conversation unless he has a really, really solid final stretch of games here. But you know, if Russ plays like this in the future, like the Seahawks could lose possibly every game. I don't think that's going to happen, but it is a possibility if he doesn't play better starting this week. Sean, what do you think? Who's the blame game?
So if we reach the point where Pete Carroll's not a good coach, because if this is the case where you're saying that like Russell Wilson, if he doesn't play well, the Seahawks lose every game, isn't that? I mean, the job of the Saints have won 5 games in the last 2 seasons without Drew Brees. So I'm saying. So yeah, the game's it's on Russell Wilson. This team is propped up. They have tons of huge issues with as a team. Russell covers up all those issues when he plays super well. When he doesn't, it looks terrible. Everything looks like it's falling down in a dumpster fire, because it would be if we didn't have Russell. I will say there's a couple things. Russell's probably number one, but like I'll go into this when we talk about film, but I think it's Pete and his philosophy with turnovers. I don't know if that's gotten into Russell or Russell's turned away, but as Kevin has been yelling for a couple weeks now, taking shots. Like he had one-on-one coverage a couple times and just didn't do it. Like there were times where it was like 3rd and 28 and he didn't do it. I'm like, what do you have to lose on a 3rd and 28? Like just go. Like it's basically a punt anyways, throwing for 50 yards. I think we could safely say I'm so sorry, but Russell's not the best quarterback in football. Like that just it is now. It's established. I'm so sorry. Seahawks with their Mahomes
I know, it's so
fixation. He's better than Russell. Like it is. Like he just is. Now Russell, when he plays up to Russell, like what Russell could be, is the best quarterback in football. But game in and game out, he doesn't do it as often as I think the other guys do. Well, just the other guy really, but he's still probably the second best quarterback in the league. But I think this came down to Russell. When Russell isn't himself, everyone sees how bad the Seahawks are. And it's a glaring issue. And teams, I think, understand that. Like Russell is the only thing you need to focus on. Nothing else. Because receivers if they were getting open, Russell wasn't hitting them, or they just simply weren't getting open enough for him. So Russell Wilson was the key.
Kevin?
Yeah. If I'm going to blame anybody, all in all, like overall, as you know, I'm going to blame Pete. But yeah, just because one, like looking back at it, I think right now, like, I think we're struggling to find what the hell our identity is again on offense. I don't think we know, to be honest, because like it was for like the first 4 to 5 weeks, it's let Russ cook. And then like our running backs died, and then we got beat up by Buffalo. And then kind of had that weird stretch. Then like the run game kind of resurfaced again when what's his face came back from injury, not Carson, the other retard. Hyde.
Wow.
Sorry. But and then we had a really good rushing game, and then like Pete was just kind of like, oh, he can balance it out again, type of thing. And like I just don't know what the heck they're doing, because like we had plays where like there was one where they had Hyde on a first down play where he got nothing going right. And it was just like, why are we having Hyde there on a first down play? It should be Carson. Carson's your main like back. Hyde should only be in. And it was like after a series too. Like you should have Carson in. Like Carson's had plenty of time to rest. Carson should be your main back. Like if you're on a drive and you've gone down the field and Carson needs a break, then you bring in Hyde. Like why are you bringing in Hyde on the first play of a series when you just came off a defense? Like that's not a thing. It shouldn't be a thing. But for some reason it is. I don't know why. Yes, mainly this is on Russell. Russell doesn't trust his own line, and I don't blame him because they played like crap. Even it was especially after Jamarco Jones went out, it got significantly worse, even though Jamarco Jones had some bad plays. I saw one play where Derek Lewis got literally pushed on his ass. It was kind of pathetic. And well, actually, no, he got pushed on his stomach, and then he kind of like tried to get up and he couldn't, and Russell had to dig out left. It's kind of hilarious. Even Simmons played, or Iapati played like crap. He got hurt. Simmons played like crap. Even there was 2 or 3 plays where Dwayne Brown didn't really have look good. So like in all, he like Russell is just so afraid that his O-line is just not there. And I don't blame him, because he doesn't want to get hurt, because he's been taught his whole career not to give up the ball, as Sean already mentioned. And I think it's in his head. Like he's just constantly, he's thinking about it. There were times where like he had it, and I'm going to show it on film too, where like his pocket is just fine. There's one where he like literally steps up and gets sacked after he gets 1 yard, when literally he had one person downfield and he had a clean pocket. If he just stayed in it, he would have seen his progression, thrown it, it would have been a first down, but then we had a punt afterward. We're going to get to that later. So overall, I'm going to blame Pete, but yes, it is also Russell too. It's a combo of both. But if I'm going to play the main game on this one, it is Russell not recognizing when his offensive line is actually protecting him, and him just like being scared and freaked out and just thinking that he has to make a play.
I want to throw something in there. I think the O-line actually has been much better than we thought coming into the year. So that's why I think it's been more Russell Wilson, because he in the past has had better lines, but like, again, at some point they've been pretty good. You need to start trusting them. It needs to be a go time. Like, you need to do these things. This is what you have.
And sometimes too, like I noticed like his pockets would shrink in. Like Russell needs to, there's times where like Russell just needs to stay in there and throw it. Like take a Tom Brady shot. Like Tom Brady always gets credit for like just standing and delivering in the pocket and then takes like a hit. And Russell has done that, but there's a lot of times when Russell sees it closing in, he does this little duck game where he like goes down and he's just thinking the sack's coming. And he's literally bending over for like 2 seconds when literally he could be using that 2 seconds to find a read and hit it. And he's just like, oh, the line's closing in and I can't move. I'm just going to go down. Like, I don't get it. It just needs to stop.
Yeah, it's I will give Kevin some credit. I mean, the O-line, they're on their 4-stringer and Wheeler, so there is some offensive line woes and injuries that they'll have to address. But ultimately, you have to try and trust the guys in front of you, because if you don't, then this is what you're going to get. It's just you're going to be looking over your shoulder every time. And granted, the Wheeler's on the right side of the line, so he's going to be able to see him coming towards him for the most part, but you got to be able to just kind of block that out and hope your line holds up.
I think that's the only issue. The rest of the O-line, I think, the right tackle has been solid enough.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say good, but solid enough.
And then let's talk about the defense. I mean, defense pitches a shutout in the first half, and when you pitch a shutout in the first half, I feel like the Seahawks should have. I mean, they didn't even score a touchdown in the first half. Like, they only scored 1 touchdown the entire game. Didn't even score one in the first 3 quarters. So there's just got to be something that needs to change. That needs to just kind of it's we said this about the defense. It's kind of a gut check time. It's a gut check time for the offense now. You got to dig deep and figure it out, because what you're doing right now is not working. And let's go back. Let's look at the 5-0 film, the first 5 games, and maybe just try and do that again. I don't even know, but there's got to be something that changes here. But let's talk a little bit about the defense. I mean, aside from a few, big run plays from Wayne Gallman, and then, you see Alfred Morris pop up again for the first time in 5 years. But it was the second half, when he broke off those 2 big runs and then Alfred Morris finished him off. I mean, I saw that and I go, okay, well, here's some adversity, and I expected them to kind of come back and have the offense, bail them out, but that was just not the case. But overall, I thought the defense was absolutely solid. I mean, Jamal Adams, for all the criticism he gets, I thought he had a really good game. Bobby Wagner, Jordan Brooks both played well. So did KJ once again. Thought the defensive line was pretty solid. The coverage was pretty good for the most part. I mean, they didn't really have anybody over 4 catches. So, granted, they didn't really throw the ball a lot. So
McCoy, yeah,
I mean,
the bar is very low.
The bar is low, but at least they met the low bar in terms of pass coverage. Now, the 2 big, the 2 big runs by Wayne Gallman are essentially what was the problem here. And for the most part, the Seahawks played the run pretty well outside of those 2 runs. So you really can't fault the defense here. What do you guys think of the defense, Kevin?
Yeah, overall, I'm not going to really haze them to everybody's going to be like, oh, you gave up 17 points to the Giants, which is true. It was just one really bad run that kind of set the tide, and then they were getting tired. Also, at the same time, too, when your offense isn't on the field for that long period of time because Russell was messing up, defense is going to get more tired. Other than that, like Jamal Adams looked good. I will say, even though coverage is a thing, Jamal, and he's not recognized it, and that's what scares me, is that when people call him out on coverage, he's offensive toward like offended. And that's a bad thing because like you should take constructive criticism, even if it's from the media, to go back and look at your tape and be like, oh shit, maybe my coverage isn't that great. But the fact that he does have 8.5 sacks and he's missed 4 games, like that is, I will say that is impressive.
I'll touch on that in a second.
And sacks aren't everything, of course, as we already mentioned too. But at the same time, overall, like it's hard to really judge how this defense did because it's a really horrible team, especially without Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. So I guess they played good enough for a team that like really struggled and was on their backups pretty much. It probably should have been a blowout, like we said. I don't even think they should have got 17 points, but like those freak plays happen where like something gets loose and people go for like 60 yards. It happens even to the best of teams. And we were a terrible defense to begin with. So for me to see that happen, I was just kind of laughing when I saw it, to be honest, when I was watching it live. So,
Sean?
The Giants are the 26th best offense in the league. So, and the Jets are one of the worst teams probably in the history of football. They average 15 points a game. NFL teams score 15 points. They're going to score like 11 at the worst on a given game, even if you have the best defense. They just do. You just score some points. You have to score more points than you did. Like that's what it comes down to. You have to get in the 20s if you want to beat the Giants. The bar is that you have to do that, and they didn't do it. I'm not going to blame anybody on the defense. The defense did everything they're supposed to. Again, like Kevin said, or you guys said, like a team is going to bust a play. Like that just happens in the course of a game. One play is going to happen. That just is how football works. I will say, Kevin, the sacks, I think Adams has been officially blocked on 2 of the 8 sacks. So he's done 2 things. Neal could do 6.5 of those sacks. So like, I'm not giving him a ton of credit for those sacks. If you're going to get a sack, I want you to at least like move or not, I don't care if you chase down Colt McCoy or Jared Goff, like unblocked, like anybody could do that in the NFL. Like do something that you need to be, that results in you being worth 2 first rounders in this stuff.
I'll make a small rebuttal to that. Neal and them don't have the speed that Jamal Adams has. So
they can chase down Jared Goff. It does not matter. They're not chasing down Michael Vick.
I mean, Jamal Adams did chase down Wayne Gallman on that big run, and without that, that's a touchdout already.
Congratulations! They scored later. Who cares?
What I'm saying is, okay, say Goff does like a 3-step drop back. If Adams gets there a half second before Ryan Neal would, that's still a half second to where you could do a quick
these aren't issues where like he's about to throw it. He's tackling guys where like Matt Ryan, where he's like scrambling. He's not even close. He did one where he chased down Cam Newton. Fantastic. Yeah. Now I will say your rebuttal should have been, Kevin, was later in the game. Ugo had a blind hit where he's unblocked and missed Colt McCoy.
Yeah, I was so pissed.
I'm not giving Jamal Adams credit. I'm knocking Ugo. Like that is the issue there. Ugo, that's a negative. That is a base. You should make that play.
Luckily, I think Collier came up or something and got him.
But that's what I said. Everyone, when that play happens, blames Ugo. But when Jamal Adams makes that play, everyone's like, man, Jamal Adams. I'm like, no, that's like the expected average of what you're supposed to do. That is not an exceptional play. You're supposed to tackle Colt McCoy in the open field by yourself. You're Jamal Adams. Like that is expected, not exceptional. I'm sorry, but like, also he again. 4 for 5 for 31 yards, targeting him. I was very easy on Jamal Adams this game. He easily could have at least 18 more yards and a touchdown given up. We'll get to the play where I think Jamal Adams is supposed to be covering the guy, but I didn't give him official credit because I couldn't say officially he was supposed to be covering him. But they still targeted, and even Colt McCoy always kind of looked in his direction when they were dropping into coverage. So his coverage is still an issue. I will also say, as a Wayne Gallman owner and starter in that game, I really hated Alfred Morris. That was super frustrating. But it's not the defense's fault. Other than like me nitpicking Jamal Adams things and his coverage, his rushing the quarterback was actually very good. Like in the past, like the Bills game, it was terrible. There was no point rushing Jamal Adams. He basically did nothing. This game, it was when he rushed the passer when they threw was very effective. So I'm like, that was like money in the bank. I gotta say again, Neal might Neal and Puna Ford might be like the best two players. Like, honestly, that's minus linebackers, but like DBs and D line, like those two players are super good. Neal just keeps doing things. Like he basically caused the Diggs pick, and Puna got a sack, like or basically half a sack. Like, I really like those two players, and I think they should be playing more often. That was my little defensive takeaway.
Yeah, I'm gonna add two little things here real quick. One, I was gonna say for Seahawks fans out there, because I was complaining on them, like the whole when we gave up 17 points, everybody was like, "Oh, this defense is bad." Like one, other NFL teams are paid to play. Like it's not like the Giants are out there to like roll over and die in their grave, and everybody's like, "We're losing to the." And I mean, yes, we should be beating the Giants because we statistically are a better team, but it's called any given Sunday for a reason, and like everybody's just shitting their pants. Pardon my language, but still, like these teams are paid to play every Sunday. Like we cannot expect. Now we should, and we'll get to that. No, for the Jets, we should. But like I said, the Raiders should have rolled over the Jets last week, and it came down to the last play. But the second thing I was going to get to is I lost my train of thought. Move on.
I'll go. No, I'll go. This is for anybody who says the better team always wins. This is not. The Giants are not a better team than the Seahawks. They are still not a better team than the Seahawks. They won on Sunday, but that does not make them the better team. And two, I don't know if we're going to move on and like talk about the West. Do you want to, or can I talk about my other point of why we lost?
I mean, you can talk about why we lost.
Okay, so I saw on Twitter some people complaining that it's a Ben Baldwin strategy and why we lost, and throw every time, and that's why we're down, and there's running games and there's variables. Well, I would like to point out that going into the fourth quarter, when we were losing 14-5, the run pass was 23 passes to 18 runs. We were basically 1 for 1, and we were losing. We scored more points when we went 21 passes to 4 runs than we did in the rest of the game. Now, there's other variables that go into that, but no, the reason we lost the game was not because of Ben Baldwin and analytics. We literally didn't do analytics and lost. Like, we didn't give Russell Wilson the ball and lost the game. Our bread is buttered. Every team, NFL team who's good is bread is butter with their quarterback. Lamar Jackson is not playing well in Baltimore, and they have lost 5 games already. That they were good he was amazing last year, won the MVP, deserved to win the MVP, and were fantastic. When you're a good team, you're propped up by your quarterback. If you're not, like, if Russell's not going to be good, you're going to lose either way.
I think what you meant to say is you need to throw more earlier, because
like
when you look at the numbers, he threw 43 times, they carried the ball 22 times, so almost double what they ran the ball.
And 21 of those passes were in the fourth quarter.
And you know,
already down.
We'll go over some passes in the fourth quarter that are just,
you throw to get the lead and you run to keep it. It's very simple.
Well, I mean, it worked the opposite for the Giants, though.
The Giants don't have a quarterback. They have 38-year-old Colt McCoy. Like,
hey, don't you knock Colt McCoy? Okay, he was really good at Texas, like 15 years ago.
They didn't have to throw the ball because we didn't. You didn't give the ball to Russell Wilson. You gave it to Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde. And then by the way, you threw the ball to Chris Carson, who can't catch crap, and he dropped the ball 2 balls in a row, and one resulted in a pick. Now, granted, he caught the touchdown later, but he already cost you 7 points.
Well, you can't blame the run game in this one. You can maybe blame the run play calling.
I'm not saying that, but like, no, they threw it to Chris Carson. Why are you throwing the ball to Chris Carson? You have DJ, you have Dallas. That's why you got him. Like, why are we throwing the ball to Chris Carson? If we're down in the fourth quarter, I saw Kevin online or on Twitter was complaining. Why are we running the ball in the fourth quarter? And why in the fourth quarter when we're down 2 scores, do we not have Dallas in the game when we're gonna throw it 21 of 25 times? Put him in the game. He's the guy with the best hands as your running back room.
Yep.
That's personnel issues. He's your best hands. Use him.
All right, well, let's get into the NFC West. So in a divisional matchup, we had the Rams defeat the Arizona Cardinals 38-28. I was not really able to see a whole lot of this game. I was mainly watching the Seahawks game. I wasn't sure if you guys were able to watch it, but Jared Goff played pretty well for the most part. 37 to 47, 351, a touchdown, no picks, one sack. And the run game was not really there. Kyler was 21 of 39, 173 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick. So, not quite as good of a performance, but yeah, it's I predicted the Cardinals to win, and I liked my Cardinals division pick 3 weeks ago, and now that has been shattered. Those dreams are gone. I think the Cardinals still have a pretty decent shot, if not probably the front runner for the final wild card spot. But at this point, they are, for the most part, out of the division unless something crazy happens. The Rams, I mean, the Rams did enough to win. Looking at the numbers, it's hard to say that, they were the best team. Um, they were the best team today. They'll play again in what, two
weeks.
weeks? Yeah.
Yep.
So they'll get to run it back and see if Kyler does a little better. But yeah, I mean, the Rams right now, they are in the driver's seat. Now they play on a short week. I think in New England on Thursday. Yeah.
Absolutely waxed the Chargers. Oh my gosh.
Actually, I apologize. They actually play week 17. They
Oh,
don't play
okay.
in 2 weeks because we
Gotcha.
play the Niners week 17. So Rams and Cardinals.
They
will play.
get a little tune up after the Patriots with the Jets, and then they
Yeah,
play
the Rams host the Patriots on Thursday, so that'll be interesting because the Patriots have made a nice comeback this season and are, they're not totally in the playoff hunt, but they're still hanging around. So
that
they
hiccup
have
to the Texans really cost them. If they didn't lose the Texans, that random blip, yeah.
So I expect a good game on Thursday, and I usually don't root for the Patriots, but I think I'm gonna have to in this one. And then on Monday Night Football in Arizona, the 49ers were the home team, and they lost to the Buffalo Bills 34 to 24. I don't think that's too surprising, given Nick Mullins at quarterback. Although the San Francisco defense is pretty good, but Josh Allen was able to find a way to get it done. What do you guys think of the rest of the NFC West this week?
Go ahead.
I didn't get to see the footage, but it doesn't surprise. I just saw that Josh Allen had a pretty good game against them. I think he had 3 touchdowns and 300 yards. I think
4.
He had 4 touchdowns. Yeah. So that kind of tells me that probably they just weren't able to get pressure, and then coverage breakdown, and he was just able to find people downfield. So I mean, like I said, that 49ers defense is good, but at the same time, they're also banged up in the front 7. Well, also when they trade Quan Alexander too, you're also taking another piece out of that. So even though they have Sherman back and the rest of that secondary is kind of solid, you're still kind of missing pieces in the front 7. And I think it kind of showed in this game because Buffalo's O-line is not bad. I mean, we had trouble getting pressure on them in the first half.
We have problem getting pressure on everybody.
Yeah. In the first half, and then when stuff break down, we sacked him 6 times. But that's when
because
they had 3 people
70,
go out.
They threw 70 passes. Yeah, of course we're gonna get
that,
there
and plus 3 of their O line went down too. So, it's not separately. And with Nick Mullins playing still against a very good defense, the fact that they got 24 points was actually kind of surprising. But overall, it's a well coached team. They still have a good run game. So it's not surprising to see that score. To me.
I'm also very happy I started Cole Beasley. That was a good call right there. Sean, what do you think?
I will say Sean McVay just showed Kingsbury how to coach in the NFL. He took. I mean, one has Jared Goff, one has Kyler Murray, and the guy with Jared Goff won. I mean, you look at that and you're like, the other one has DeAndre Hopkins. The other guy, has some good weapons, but he does not have DeAndre Hopkins, and he just absolutely put it on that team. They are Kevin will know we were on a separate podcast before, and I picked the Rams to be second in the division this year and make the playoffs. Barring, I didn't know the 49ers were going to explode. So I thought they were going to win the division, but I thought the Rams were going to be a lot better than people said. Because I trusted Sean McVay. They are scary. They're well coached as long as Jared Goff doesn't totally shoot that team in the foot. Again, the whole Russell Wilson and the team is built on the quarterback. Just don't shoot yourself in the foot, Jared Goff, and your team will be fine. As for the Cardinals, again, Matthew, I'll give you some credit. You saw the potential. I thought they were going to be 1 year away. I think it's now leaning back towards me. They're 1 year away from really taking that step, but they're definitely, you could see pieces, but it's an inconsistency with this team. I just don't think that they're week in and week out there yet, because I just think it's not enough talent. I just still don't think they're like a year away and another draft away from really putting enough talent on the field. And then once they do that, then maybe next year, then they'll be a lot better. And
The
a lot
fact
better.
that they don't have to pay Kyler for another 2 years too, like get some free agency help as well, like
Yeah.
solidify that O line, because that O line still has some pieces on there.
Yeah.
I mean, when Sweezy's your right guard, that's kind of not
he's
good.
terrible.
Um,
That defense just across the board. Once Chandler
Jones went out. Yeah, you need to get help with Chandler Jones.
Had nothing.
Simmons will develop, and we've seen that Simmons, as we predicted.
But he's an all over guy. He's actually played very well as a linebacker. He ranks 28th.
And he's gonna help out with that as he grows. But you also need help with Chandler Jones. Like, it can't just be the Chandler Jones show.
Well, he's rushing the passer. He can't be playing linebacker too. So you need a guy at each level, and right now they don't have anybody at the bottom level, like the D line. They just don't have anybody.
I think eventually too, you have to kind of like say goodbye to Patrick Peterson. Like he's still solid, but like
you're probably right. He's getting there.
He's not terrible, but he's not good.
I don't think you necessarily have to get rid of him. I think you have to have a conversation and say you're gonna have to take less money in order to stay here.
I don't think that's happening. I think he walks. So which is fine, because like as a team you need to get
your draft picks.
Yeah. Their corners are terrible. Their safeties are a lot better. Their corners are terrible. They need some D line and corner help. But yeah, like I think Matthew was right in the fact that like you could see it with Kyler taking the step. I just think he is held down by such little talent around him. Just really on the offensive line, and the defensive line is just atrocious. And as the 49ers, Kevin was right. They're well coached, but they just don't have enough healthy bodies. Like, and what they traded this year, it's catching up to them.
Next year is going to be scary. Like, I don't even want to see next year.
They're going to have a high pick. They're going to be healthy.
Well, like this whole division, division, they think everybody's good now. Like, wait till the Niners are fully healthy again.
Well, and like, what if everybody explodes again? But it could happen. But
Well, with the Cardinals also, it's the fact that Kyler's not really running anymore. Like, what happened to him? Having designed runs. Like he's 5 for 15 in this last game, and I know he got banged up in that Seahawks game, and maybe that's what they're doing. But that is a part of his game that makes him elite. Like it's not it's he can throw better than Lamar Jackson, so he's got the speed, and if you can get him in space, like no one's gonna stop him.
The problem is, like, as we've seen throughout history of the NFL, running quarterbacks don't always keep running. You have to be able to throw the ball consistently. Like year one, Josh Allen just only ran the ball. They didn't win a lot of games. You have to be able to do both. Lamar Jackson only ran the ball, threw occasionally when they had to in like one-on-one coverage or just nobody guarding him, and did well. But like the quarterbacks who do well long periods of time, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, who can run, their first priority is less designed runs and run only as like an extra weapon. It's everything broke down. Let's run now, because those other plays are kind of taking unnecessary hits, like RG3 type plays. Like using the running ability is more of like let's run this pass play, because passing is always more efficient than running. So let's try to pass it. Let's get 18 yards. Oh, we can't. Then I'll run for 10. Like design runs are nice, and I wouldn't say take them away from Kyler, but as it's a big track record in the NFL. Like limit the number of designed runs to just a couple a game, and lean on it and be like, hey, but coach them up. Be like, hey, if you don't see something in your first couple routes, just take off. Like use it, but don't don't abuse it, I guess is the way I would put it. But and get down. Please don't take a hit. Please don't like dive for the first down in the first quarter of a game in week 8 or something like that. Lamar Jackson last year. Like get down. I don't care if you don't get the first down. Just avoid unnecessary contact, like Kyler Murray probably took in Seattle.
Plus, it also makes the defense have to account for you too. Like if you keep them honest, like that's what happened in the Packers game like last year. Like once Russell started taking off, things started opening up, because they were like, oh, we got to account for Russell, so we got to put a spy, and then that takes away from the backfield. Like literally, like Sean said, you don't have to do it every time, but the fact that they have to account for it, also make it to where like you teach him how to do Russell things, where you scramble in the backfield to get something downfield. I mean, that Hail Mary that he did against Buffalo was nutty, and that was on the run going left, and he chucked it like what was that, 50, 60 yards?
50, 60 yards.
I can't
Something like
remember.
that,
Yeah,
That is
exactly,
nutty.
yeah.
Like imagine that, but just doing like a 30-yard, and we know Kyler can missile it. Like that dude's got a
Yeah.
fucking cannon. Like for 30 yards, just sling it. Like
DeAndre Hopkins won't drop it either. Like
No.
he will catch
Yeah.
it.
so
Yeah, it's
just about
interesting
that.
to watch the Cardinals. I mean, he had 13 targets, 8 catches. I mean, not much more you can do targeting DeAndre Hopkins. You got to spread it out a little bit. So, they could squeak into the playoffs. Maybe they make a little bit of noise. You never know. But,
Wait, can I say something? Maybe the
Yeah.
Seahawks losing was the best thing because, like, right now, if the playoffs started, we play the Giants again in the first week, which would be much easier than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Though, if Daniel Jones is back, do you worry about that?
No.
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 If you have to worry about it, then you don't deserve. You
Yeah,
don't really
no, I
deserve a
agree.
deep run, anyways. So I would rather play the Giants with Daniel Jones, even Saquon. Give him everybody.
We saw
Or-
what I'm just saying we saw what Cam did to us, and he's about the same size as Cam.
I'm not worried about him or Cam. They both kind of suck. So my
true.
issue it's the rest of the team. Like the rest of the Giants are not coached by Bill Belichick and have the talent. You
Mhm.
should be able to beat the Giants. So like the
I agree.
playoffs are start right now. Honestly, the loss, I mean, as it sucks, put them in against a better position to win their first playoff game. Like, would you rather play the Rams, the Cardinals, Bucks, or the Giants? It's clearly the
Especially
Giants.
especially in a year where home field advantage is not going to mean
Yeah,
the same thing.
exactly. See, I was gonna get to that.
Like,
Yeah. Seahawks home
um,
field is going to be nothing. There's going to be no
nothing.
fans anyways.
well, yeah, I see what you're saying, Sean. But at the same time, it's like, is that? Are you
now
tanking? Are you
Not on
okay with
purpose.
losing?
No,
like,
absolutely. I'm not saying
at the
that's the
same
thing.
time,
You're
if
not getting the number one seed. Like that's gone. So there's
Yeah.
no point. You're not getting a bye. The only thing to play for if it was a 1 and 2 to get a bye, but that's not happening anymore. So now I think the best bet might be that 5 seed.
I mean,
to
one
get
is still not out of the possibility, but the Saints look
It's
pretty good.
basically out of
Once-
the possibility.
I mean,
With
once
the Packers and the
Ta-
Saints losing.
Taysom Hill would have to go down next week, and you literally have to have. But then the week after that, Drew Brees is back.
I mean,
So-
the Saints.
We will lose another game this year.
The
Like,
Saints start
that's-
off slow, so they're not
Yeah.
like impervious to playing bad. Like,
but
there's
we are losing another game this year.
Yeah, we will.
They play.
Yeah,
they played
probably.
they played the only
They have
500
those
team.
two.
The only above 500 team the Saints play left is the Chiefs. That's it.
And
No
they
one
will
else above
lose that.
500.
I think they will lose that.
They probably will.
well, you never know. Any given Sunday, right?
It
We
is-
lost
I know,
Giants.
but like
It's
it's but
possibility.
Matthew. At this point,
Yeah,
it's
I
any
know.
given multiple Sundays is the problem. Like
Yeah,
it's going to take
true.
multiple weeks now.
Yep.
And then
All
the
right.
Packers have to lose 2 games, which they won't either.
But you never know. You never know. All right, so let's take a quick break here, and we will come back and talk about the rest of the NFL Week 13 schedule when we get back. And welcome back to Washington East to West Sports. So let's talk about the rest of the NFL schedule from this last week. So I'm just going to bring it up here really quickly. Are there any results that stand out
Yes,
to you guys
Washington
in
beat
particular?
Pittsburgh. Like, that happened.
That did happen. That did happen. And you've got to give credit to Alex Smith, I would say, because
Yeah, he's
we mentioned the defense, which played their part and held that Pittsburgh offense. But Alex Smith coming back from that injury, stepping in when he was asked to.
Started 3 games and won 3 games. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah.
Who was saying this last week? I was literally telling both of you gents last week. I was like, Alex Smith was a legit quarterback who's just been gone for 2 years.
But
and
were
when
you
he-
saying he was gonna beat the Steelers?
No,
I mean, he beat
but
the
I'm
Bengals
saying-
and the Cowboys, man.
I'm
Like, there's a
saying down the
difference.
road, he's going to get more reps under his belt, and he's going to become more comfortable in the new system that he's in with a new coach.
Oh, I agree that.
And
but-
as I said on previous podcasts, that the front 4 is very good for them.
You did say that. I'll give you that
on
one.
previous podcasts, yes. So like but that secondary is trash. Let's be honest. We should if and that's what I'm afraid of when we get to them, and we'll get to that on a future episode. But in general, if we can hold that front 4 and Russell doesn't freak out, like we should be able to take shots downfield as we please.
All right, now let me mention the results. The 2 results that stand out to me. Number 1, Cleveland. Going into Tennessee and just absolutely destroying the Titans in the first half. Baker Mayfield, I had him in our fantasy league, dropped him. This would have been like the only week to play him. That was crazy to see that the Cleveland Browns are 9-3 and second in that division. And the other result that really stood out to me was the Vegas and the Jets game, and it's particularly because of how everything unfolded. I had to go get my COVID test at noon. I came back and saw that the Jets were winning, and I'm like, what? And I have a friend who is a Raiders fan, and to see that whole end of the game unfold, and then the aftermath of, we'll get into the Jets later, obviously, but the firing of Greg Williams and all that sort of stuff.
Wait, did they fire Greg Williams?
Yes.
Yeah, they fired him
Oh,
like the day after.
They
Yeah.
should have fired him on the spot. But
Well,
They
anyways,
should have
yeah.
fired
That's-
everyone on that coaching staff. Like, why are
Everybody
is
was
like anyone there?
shocked because there was like memes of like the Jets have fired ... Everybody's like, yes, and they're like Greg Williams. Everybody's like, what? They're like, what? Like Adam Gase should be gone. Like the GM should be gone.
Yeah,
Everybody.
it makes no sense how it's only the defensive coordinator, but such is the life in Jets land. But I also want to mention a fantasy thing. I had a lead going into tonight against the opponent I was playing, Sheridan, and he had the Baltimore defense. So all I needed was Dallas to put up about 20 points, and I lost by 2 points because the Dallas offense is good for nothing. So this ultimately proves that
Yeah,
the
they
Dallas
put up
Cowboys are
17.
just complete trash, and they are good for nothing, and I will never root for them ever again. So that is all I have to say about that.
Okay. I want to touch on those games. So the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go Ben Baldwin here for a second. Stop running with Derrick Henry so much. You lost this game because in the first quarter, you're like, I've got to force feed Derrick Henry. And then surprise, they took a lead and scored a bunch of points when they threw the freaking ball. Like, Derrick Henry is great for when you're running out the clock because he's a big, scary monster in the fourth quarter. He had 40 yards going in the fourth quarter last week, and then they force-fed him and they won the game. Like, you don't need to force feed him in the first quarter to win these games against these teams. The Cleveland Browns are going up and down the field. So what do? Try to slow it down and have Derrick Henry fumble twice? And then give the Cleveland Browns the ball back again multiple times because you're punting and fumbling? Throw the ball to A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. And then they did it once. They threw 3 plays and they scored a touchdown in 3 plays.
Didn't AJ Brown leave the game? Isn't that what I heard?
He came back.
He came back. Yeah.
The next series. Like he went like for like 45-yard pass catch. The next play, Davis caught it for a touchdown. I'm like, wow, it took 3 plays. You threw to these 2 guys and they scored a touchdown. Like, you've been dicking around the whole first quarter. And I'm like, yeah, you have these 2 guys. If they would line up like 8 or 9 guys in the box, and then Vrabel would still run up there and be like, I'm going to run 2 tight ends and a fullback, and I'm going to run it. And he's surprised. He got like 1 yard, 2 yards. And I'm like, stop running this play. Like, the Cleveland Browns played well, yes, but Vrabel, you're wasting your team. The way your team is set up, you're completely wasting it. And then the other game, the Jets, you have one job, like at the game in Hail Mary, cover the end zone. And you run an all-out blitz and have no deep safeties. No duh, you got beat over the top. I don't understand, like, how everyone immediately coming in the tunnel was just like, you're fired, let's move on. Like, that was one of the worst coaching decisions I've ever made. And again, I'm going to say it again. I don't want to hear online anyone ever say you don't know what you're doing because you're not an NFL coach or GM. Adam Gase has a job, and so did Greg Williams. You had one job. You had 60 yards, and don't let him in the end zone on 1 play. And you ran an all-out blitz with no safety help, and they scored a touchdown.
Okay, the spy on Derek Carr was the weird one. That is
You
like,
you put 10 guys in the end zone and be like, do it. And the Jets were like, you know what the best plan is? The opposite. Like, put 10 guys at the line.
well, okay, I
have
don't
one guy run
necessarily, an all-out blitz is not the call, but I don't mind the pressure to make him get the ball out quick
no.
Who
because
cares? Who cares
It's
when he gets the
60
ball?
yards.
Yeah,
No.
make him throw that ball 60 yards. Be like, fucking
did you
throw it.
see the game today where Andy Dalton and CeeDee Lamb basically should have had a touchdown there at the end of the half when they had no one rushing him?
No, because I'm not watching the Ravens beat up on the Cowboys because I have some stupid fantasy in it. Why do you have Dallas's defense, you idiot?
I didn't have Dallas's defense. He had Baltimore's defense.
Who cares? But, like, no, you're like, Kevin will agree. Like, your job is to everyone stand at the 5-yard line in the end zone and be like, throw this ball into 10 guys
And swat it.
and swat it down.
God, swat it.
That's
You're playing volleyball.
that's the job. Teams used to put Julio Jones, or, like,
Yeah, that's another thing I don't get.
put
Like,
your tall receivers down there and be like, beat us in this jump ball. Throw DK back there, be like, beat us with this jump ball. But no, the Jets did the opposite thing, 101 of football. The analytics even say do it. and they didn't do it. And I'm like, so when you say I don't know what I'm doing, I could sure as hell lead a team to an 0-12 record like Adam Gase does. I could do that right now.
Yeah. And I'm gonna go on a little side tangent just because of what Julio like with last week when they caught that crazy Hail Mary and the guy went Rick Rogers went and caught it. Why was DK not on that team? Like DK is your fastest like big boy. Like he should be like, I don't care if he's like, put him in on defense on a Hail Mary play to run down the field and spike the living shit out of that with his muscles. Like why is he not on that? Anywho, to comment on both of these, first one, Cleveland, I will give props to Stefanski, whatever his name is. Stefanski, because he did exactly what the Titans should have done, because they thought going in that they were going to, because they had been running the ball and then they just throw it on third down because Baker Mayfield isn't as good as most people thought. And they did, like, they threw it, so to speak, and the Titans just didn't know what the hell to do because they're expecting.
Defense is also absolute trash this year. Like, absolutely.
Yeah, it has been bad. But I think they were expecting for them to just run the ball like they've been, and they're like, well, we're gonna just throw it, and then we'll run the ball when you're not expecting it, and they put up a crap ton of points because, like, everybody forgets, like, Cleveland has weapons, like they have a lot of, even with OBJ out, like they still have a lot of good weapons. So that was and then the Raiders have just been coming down to earth lately. Everybody was like, really, I think they're still a solid team, and I think in probably a year or two with more good drafting, because I like Mike Mayock as their drafter.
Yep. Just Gruden just needs to stay out of the way, though.
Yeah, just like Mike Mayock knows what the fuck he's doing. Just let him draft your team. And just, I think in 2 years, like they could be. I don't know if they could really, because the Chiefs are still going to be ridiculous, but I think they could be competing for, like, kind of like what Niners and Seahawks were doing for a while, type of deal, and at least make the playoffs as a wild card team, especially with a 3. But yeah, like seriously, why are you blitzing? Like the most you should be sending is 3. Like literally, like on the last play when Carlos Dunlap got the sack on that when it was like he was at like 40 yards, he was going down. They rushed 3 and Carlos Dunlap got home. Like that's literally all it takes.
True. There's no need to bring the house. Bring 3, maybe 4. That's better.
Max should be 4.
And I'm so sorry, Colts fans. The moment I said I believed in you, they go on a 2-game losing streak. I jinxed the Colts.
Who did they play this week?
They played
Houston. They beat
Houston. Okay, sorry,
they beat Houston.
Okay.
Gosh.
Last I saw they were losing. Oh, they discovered who T.Y. Hilton was this year.
Oh, that's right.
I was forced to start him this week.
I did not play T.Y. Hilton or Taylor because they both have let me down and they both scored touchdowns, and I was super pissed. That's why. Okay.
All right, so let's get into a preview of this coming week. So the Seahawks are going to be hosting the New York Football Jets, winless New York Football Jets, 1:05 p.m. in Seattle. Recent history for these two teams: the Seahawks have won the last 3 meetings, including the last meeting in Seattle, which was a 28-7 win in 2012. And there are some familiar names to some Seahawks fans. Mark Sanchez was the starting quarterback for the Jets. Tim Tebow played.
There you go.
And the leading rusher for the Seahawks was a man named Marshawn Lynch, near and dear to our hearts. Zach Miller was the leading wide receiver in that game.
Oh, that's a name right there.
That's a name right there.
That's a true tight end, too.
Yep.
The last time these teams met was in New York in 2016, and the Seahawks won 27-17. That was also a game with some interesting names. Russell Wilson and Ryan Fitzpatrick was a quarterback of the New York Jets at the time. Leading rusher for the Seahawks was Christian Michael, if you remember that name. And the leading rusher for the Jets was Matt Forte, also a name that was very good back in the day. The leading receiver was none other than Jimmy Graham for the Seattle Seahawks. And Quincy Enunwa led the New York Jets in that game. So, gentlemen, the Seahawks have a 3-game win streak against the Jets. The Jets have not won a game this year. We just touched on exactly what happened at the end of the game with Greg Williams calling a blitz at the end. Offensively, Sam Darnold looked pretty good last game. He was able to, give the Raiders a lead. I wouldn't say he's going to be necessarily a big threat to the Seahawks, but as we saw, Colt McCoy can find a way to lead a team to a win. So okay, let's just put this out there. The Seahawks should not lose this game. I think we can all agree on that. But if they do, how much are we gonna smash the panic button like we smashed the subscribe button on our YouTube channel? Like, how difficult would a loss be to the New York Jets if it were to happen? Let's just assume it's not. But Kevin, if the Seahawks lose this game, what's the panic meter is right here right now? Is that what you'd say?
This is a really scientific poll.
And then
I
the
like.
panic
I like
meter.
That. I like that. I like your
Yeah.
meter.
Yeah, thank you. Where's the panic meter right now after the loss of the Giants, and how bad would it get if they lost the Jets?
So, as I mentioned earlier, against the New York Giants, other teams are paid to play football.
Not Greg Williams.
And yeah, not anymore. And any given Sunday, there is an exception to that, and it's the Jets. Like, literally. I know everybody does the whole Alabama could beat a team and stuff like that, and everybody who knows football is like, no fucking way an NFL team is going to fucking win every goddamn time. I kind of have a small argument.
No.
I know. I would still give it to the Jets. I would still give it to the Jets. I would have a small argument, like if it was played 10 times, maybe they might win once, just because this team is really fucking bad. Like 1 out of 10 times, Alabama might win just because this team is really fucking bad. And their
Don't
coach.
you disrespect Frank Gore like that?
God. And their coach is so. They didn't even use Frank Gore. They used some Elijah, fucker.
He's old and shitty, anyways.
Yeah.
Who cares about
They
Frank
used
Gore?
some other dude. Okay, so
Frank Gore is still the leading rusher for the team. I just want to say that
they have no running game. Their O line is kind of.
They have no quarterback.
Yeah, they have no. I mean, yeah, Sam
so
Darnold.
sorry.
well, can we at least say that I don't know if we can blame Sam Darnold for this.
The metrics are still very poor on Sam Darnold.
I mean, okay,
They're-
metrics aside, can we, if you blame Pete Carroll and you give credit to Sean McVay, can we at least throw some blame on Adam Gase for Sam Darnold?
Yeah,
I was
but
about to
there's
say-
like a limit. Like, if you are a good quarterback, you'd still play better than he's playing.
I will say this. So since he's come into the league, he's had to have, because learning an NFL system and learning how to make that next step is huge, and you have to have the right people behind you. As we were already mentioned with King, was saying that with Kingsbury on what's his face down in Arizona, that his ceiling is capped off because Kingsbury can only show him so much, or so little, pretty much. I think it's the same with Sam Darnold. Like you've had Adam Gase showing him how to play football. Adam Gase wouldn't know how to play football if literally like his life depended on it, just because he's dumb. It's that bad. So literally he's had an ignorant person who thinks they know football, teach him NFL pro football. Now, I'm not saying Sam Darnold doesn't know how to play football. He did at USC, and that's also another thing too. USC quarterbacks have normally been trap quarterbacks. Like most of them have not panned out.
USC either.
No,
I'm gonna be honest.
So for him to take that next step, he needs good coaching behind him, and he hasn't had it. I would be interested to see him go to another team and see like what he would do, like the Bears. Or I could even see San Fran be interested in him after this year, since they're probably going to pass up on Jimmy, and he'd be a cheap option to get. That could, in a running system where literally he's not going to be asked to do much throwing downfield. So they literally, and their defense is just.
They can't pass up on Jimmy. They got 2 more years left to Jimmy.
No, they will probably cut him because they will save a lot of money if they cut him. Like
Who?
there's not.
Sam Darnold?
No.
They lose $3 million. They cut him.
Who are you talking? I'm talking about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, they lose $3
Oh,
million.
sorry.
He's got dead money still. I mean, it's not a lot, but
It's not a whole lot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Is it worth cutting though for $3 million?
I mean, he's barely been healthy, and when he has been.
But you're not cutting him for Sam Darnold.
No.
Well, no, I think you go get somebody better, of course. Like Matt Ryan's a free agent after this year.
Now, how would it be if they go get Colin Kaepernick? I would love.
Okay, well, hold on. The Jets by by all standards, are going to have the number 1 pick, right? Like, I don't think that's
It's the
very
them or the
debatable.
Jags. Hey, them or the Jags are fighting for it. They're Jags.
Now, like, because if you're the Jets, and Trevor Lawrence comes out, you're taking Trevor Lawrence. This is like a Kyler Murray, Josh Rosen situation.
If you're
You're
Trevor
taking.
Lawrence, if you're Trevor Lawrence, you stay in school.
Wait, what if Adam Gase
Yeah.
leaves? Then are you like, okay, maybe I'll come out?
If I legitimately, I had this conversation at my place of work. If I'm Trevor Lawrence, I am always like, for the team that drafts you, you play for that team. Except for an Adam Gase coach team, I would demand it. I will not play for you, the Jets. You
Is it
have
like
to fire.
the-
You
is it
have
like
to
the-
fire Adam Gase.
Was
Well,
it
I
Eli
think-
Manning
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'd be like, I do not care who your coach is. I will play for you if it's not Adam Gase. He is, like Kevin said, he's that bad.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I will demand a trade, or I'm not playing for you because I'm not playing for that guy because he's that bad of a coach.
Okay, so the San Fran situation, going back to it, because they have 2 other options. So like I said, Matt Ryan is a free agent after this year, and
He's a
also
billion.
so is Philip Rivers.
He's a
You
billion.
could-
Oh, come
I
on,
know.
You can't.
I know. What I'm saying is that you just bring him in like what Colts did for like a year. You have a running game that you're not going to be asking him to throw a whole lot because it's still going to be running the ball first. If I were them, I would go for Matt Ryan because I just trust him more than I trust Philip Rivers. But
Can I just say they do have one of those quarterbacks right now in Joe Flacco, and he has been no better. He has been no better. Than,
I'm talking about the 49ers. I'm not talking about the Jets.
Oh,
No, but-
well, I don't think either of those guys are that much of an upgrade from Jimmy Garoppolo, to be honest with you. Like when Jimmy G was in,
I would
made
say
the
Matt
Super
Ryan
Bowl.
is. I would say Matt Ryan is an upgrade over Jimmy G.
I would say he's an upgrade, but I don't know if it's like over the top.
Yeah, I don't know if it's more of a lateral move, I would say.
It's and you'd probably have to pay him more than Jimmy G. I would. Think.
Okay, so I trust. So we've seen Jimmy G's throwing, like when he's even healthy. Like I trust Matt Ryan's throw. It's a lot more accurate. Matt Ryan's throwing is way more accurate than Jimmy G. Like it's not even close. Like I don't think it's like you're going from Jimmy G to Russell Wilson, but you're going from like Jimmy G to maybe like, I don't want to say like Ben, but like maybe a little bit above a Derek Carr. Like you're going to a guy that could put you in a Super Bowl and actually give you a shot to win it.
Well,
like
we've
when,
already seen
in
what
a
he's done in
full
the Super
season
Bowl.
of advanced statistics,
that was Dan Quinn.
Jimmy G's about the 13th best quarterback in football, about average. Right now, Matt Ryan is 13th this year, so
I
like
know.
it's a lateral move.
I just trust his arm because like when he gets in pressure situations and like that, like Jimmy G's arm is just terrible as we've seen. Like it's kind of like a Jared Goff arm, to where like he throws like the whole Diggs pick where it's like 7 yards behind him and it just goes in Diggs' hands.
Well,
like,
I agree with you. Of cutting him's not the worst idea. I would lean more towards draft if I'm the 49ers.
Well, I'm saying because well, I mean, you do have a high pick this year, so you could go get Fields out of
and you could even then at that point leave Jimmy G for this year because it's not a big deal for you this year, and then cut him next year, or even trade him again.
Because honestly, like at the same time too, like if it comes to that point, if you're going to get Matt Ryan for like a similar deal, I'd rather have Matt Ryan mentoring my future quarterback than Jimmy G.
Like, how was Matt Ryan?
And also,
Matt Ryan's
if I'm the
only like
Niners,
34,
and
35.
looking at the draft, like outside of Trevor Lawrence, like there's no one I'm picking out in the first round. I mean, just
because Matt Ryan was drafted.
You're not taking a chance on Task from Florida.
No. I like, especially right now with like hardly any sample size. We need more games.
I mean, he's in the SEC. Like if you're like he's like if that's a sample size of a sample size. Like
no, don't give me the SEC. Every Alabama quarterback has been terrible when they come out. Don't give me the SEC.
No one ever
All
thought
right?
an Alabama quarterback was
except
gonna
for
be good.
except for Tua.
No one ever thought an Alabama quarterback was gonna be
We
good.
have yet to see on Hurts, even though he transferred. But anywho, we still have to see yet on Hurts. Like we might see a little preview this week, maybe, even though he's got no weapons.
Your Pac-12 took a dump last week too, Matthew. Good job there.
College football's a joke this year, but that's beside the point.
Anyways,
so,
back. The Jets suck.
Jets suck.
Are terrible.
We should beat them.
Okay, so let's give some predictions here. I will go ahead and start now. Man, I said last week that the Seahawks would get back to their 30-point scoring ways, and man, was I not close. But this is the Jets. The Jets give up a lot of points. Seahawks should score a lot of points against the Jets. My heart tells me it's going to be more than 30. And my heart has been wrong sometimes, but I'm going to trust it this time. Let's go with I, I don't know what the line is. I'm gonna look it up here after this. I hope it's more than a touchdown. I'm gonna go 35-21 Seahawks
Wow.
in this game. Sean, what do you think?
I'm going to not necessarily trust Pete, but this offense is terrible. I trust Adam Gase to continue to just ruin everything. And Jamal Adams is going to be ready to play. Like, he's going to be fired up. Come on, he's going to be
All
ready
right.
to play.
Yes,
Although
Hold
he's
on.
got
Wait, can I just say, the line right now is the Seahawks are a 13-point favorite, and the over/under is 47. So I took the over and
I
the Seahawks to cover. So
will take the over and take the Seahawks to cover as well. I say 35-10.
Ooh.
I don't think I mean, the Jets are just terrible. That is,
But-
and that's, by the way, that's their average points scored this year. So I'm just basically picking the averages. They get slaughtered every week.
The person he was most mad at, Greg Williams, is no longer there. So
No,
I
I
mean,
just their offense is what the part that's the worst part of their.
no, I'm
team.
saying because Greg Williams said he would get bored in Pete Carroll's.
I know that's
thing.
what I was
And
about
then
to
that
say
started
when
the whole-
Matthew did the
Yeah.
thing. I know if they waited one more week to fire him, that would have been great.
God.
But I still think
I think he'll play
he's going to
hard.
be fired up either way
Yeah.
because Adam Gase has known that the players kind of hate him. The Dolphins all said Parker said he hated him in Miami. All the players did, so they were really happy they got out of there. So I assume he hated him too.
well, he
So-
also locked Jamal Adams out of the practice facility in that one clip. So I mean,
Was it
he didn't even
intentional?
want to come back.
I think that was an accident. But yeah, the now famous clip. But I just think I'll change it. I'll go 35-10. 35-10.
Kevin?
It's a slaughter.
All right. Shell is supposed to be back this week, so that should help out a little bit.
It shouldn't matter. They should win either way.
I fully agree. We thought that last week too, and we were very, very wrong. It's going to be, well, honestly, and to kind of summarize some shit a little bit too, Russell's been playing bad for like 5 weeks. It's not just last week.
Yeah.
Like Russell's been playing bad, like period, because he doesn't trust his O-line. And Shell coming back should help out a little bit, but it's going to come down to Russ, like just being Russ, just saying, fuck it, I'm Russ, I can do this shit and make the plays. And not overthink it too much too. I don't think this is going to be a blowout, sadly to say.
Kevin.
This defense is still not the best. It still gives up stuff. And Sam Darnold is a better thrower of the football than Colt McCoy.
But
So I think
his coach is Adam Gase.
Jamison Crowder is a serious slot receiver. He's not the best, but he's someone you have to respect. And also that Mims kid apparently has kind of shown himself up. They show what they could do against a bad defense last week, and our defense is not top 15. It's still, we've been playing poop teams, so I'm still not out on this defense until we play the Rams. Once we play the Rams, that will kind of just show where this defense is at.
We are 22nd, and the Jets are 21st. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I know.
In defense.
But I'm gonna say this is gonna be, we haven't won by more than a touchdown in a long time. So I think we're gonna put up more points than usual, but I think we're also going to give up points. I am going to say we're going to win. I'm going to say 26-20.
Wow.
Okay.
Can I point out?
So you
look
both
what
took
we've-
the under. Kevin has the Jets covering. Sean took the Seahawks to cover.
Can
That's
I,
interesting.
Can I put out something that the advanced numbers said that the Jets had the second worst offense in the league only because the Denver Broncos did not play a quarterback 2 weeks ago, and they actually overtook the Jets.
They had one completion the whole game to Noah Fant for 13 yards.
Lowered them like it's on a
Like,
percentage
fuck
thing.
them,
It lowered
yeah.
them 9 percentage points to negative 25%, and they
God.
barely passed the Jets in worst offense. So
Yeah.
They were so bad in 1 week they passed the Jets in offense.
But yeah, we don't blow people out. Like we just don't. Unfortunately, we absolutely should, but we don't. We play down to our opponents, and I think it's going to be 26-20.
Yep. I mean, You know, I want to knock your prediction, Kevin, but
I want
frankly,
to too. I want
frankly-
to too.
frankly, I'm nervous. I'm just nervous. Like after that last week,
I-
I'm nervous.
I don't
You
like
know?
you both. I think you're both fake Seahawks fans.
Oh.
Why don't you just go be Jets fans, huh? Why don't you just go watch the goddamn Jets, huh?
Because
Huh?
I'm already a Mariners fan, and that's miserable enough. So,
Hey, Jared Kilnick's coming. Just hold your horses.
Logan
right.
Gilbert too.
well, while we have some time, let's go to the film here. So, Sean, I've already got your first play queued up, 12:07 in the first quarter here.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So,
Okay.
tell me what we're looking at here.
Oh, I gotta find this right here. Oh, this is just 12:07.
In the first, yeah.
Yeah. Let's just. I gotta get out here. Just play it here real quick.
All right, so 5 wide.
This is just. This was indicative. Oh, go the other shot. This is just indicative. It was the first time in the relay of the day that it showed it, and it's simply just Tyler's completely wide open, and just Russell's. There's no pressure. There's nothing anywhere near him. He just.
I mean, this guy.
But like he's 4 yards away from him, and then like this ball isn't even close to Tyler.
Well, I mean, okay. Well, let's look at this though. So, I mean, you're right. Blocking up here, good. This guy, not blocked, not good.
But
he puts his
he's also
hands
in
up.
the
You've got to
throwing
throw
lane, too.
around him.
But
You gotta
again,
throw
he's in
if
around
the
he
him.
throwing
just throws it at the first moment he doesn't hesitate, Tyler's even more open than he is
Mhm.
right now.
Also, I read this play too. He gets open too, but technically the safety cuts off as he sees Russ do it. But I think David would beat the safety here. Like play it through.
Boom, right here.
Yeah, slow it,
Tyler's
slow
open.
it.
Tyler was more
Yeah.
open if he didn't hesitate and let the guy get closer. It's even a better completion.
Go back to the first view real quick and slow it down. So yeah, Tyler is open here. I don't know if it's a touchdown because the safety does
I
come
don't
up
think
and
it's a
It's not a
touchdown.
touchdown.
I'm just saying it's just a completion. It's more of a.
But
I mean,
the
also-
fact
also-
here, like as he curves in, the safety
Hollister
just
is-
saves. Like if he just throws it here, like good God.
Yeah,
Go back
but-
back and just show Hollister too. Like actually, like everybody's open. Like look in the middle of the
It's,
field. Like
it's just
right
Russ freaking out
right here.
because
There's
of
no one anywhere near
and
Hollister.
it's 1-on-1.
Yeah, there's
all across the
no
board.
one. And that's what I'm saying.
So,
Like it wasn't like that Tyler's gonna break a player. It's great. It was just indicative. It was like a smaller microcosm of what happened. He was just really off all game. He was constantly missing wide open players that Russell. I've heard some people online say he's hurt. I don't know. He might be hurt, but like I just think he had a terrible game. I really do.
honestly, I think he's kind of in his own because so he wanted this let's Russ cook thing. And like I don't think he realized the amount of pressure that goes under it, especially with an aging O-line and an O-line that's just built from shambles,
Well,
and how much it would affect,
I think
like how much he has to do.
I think also I think you're right. There's much into it, but I also think that he needs Russell's amazing, but like at a certain point when he's gonna throw the ball, like your receivers got to get open. The O-line has to block. Like, and Pete Carroll has to develop a scheme that is towards Russ Cook, not just like the game plan isn't simply just Russ throws 50 times. It's you have to design a play still. You have to like, try to get somebody open. Like it's just not like Russ will do it. Like you have to meet him in the middle a little bit here.
And I mean, look at this play a few times. Russ never looks away from Tyler.
Because
Hollister is the throw here. Hollister's
I'm not
he's
blaming
heading
that.
up the field and he's going towards the end zone, whereas Tyler's going out on a short out route, and you're probably gonna get more yards with Hollister. But yeah,
no,
I hear what
think
you're
about it
saying.
this way: they brought more guys in the Seahawks to block. There are 6 rushers and 5 blockers. So Russell's doing the correct thing and looking at the hot route. The hot route is open. He just completely misses it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
True.
Russell did everything actually correct except complete the pass. I'm not going to knock him for not finding the right guy because we can look at it here and be like, oh, you should hit this guy. But he saw the issue, addressed the issue, because that's been his issue in the past where he's like, they're blitzing. They're clearly coming. Get rid of this. And he hasn't. And then he just like gets sacked for no reason. I'm like, please like understand the issue. And he did. And he just missed it. I think. Which one is this one?
This is 5:54 in the first.
Oh yeah, this is the sack, and this is again kind of why sacks don't mean a whole lot. The guy who
is it
makes a
Jamal?
sack, is Puna,
Oh,
and
Puna
Puna's
does
the
it.
only guy who gets blocked. Is this the play? Yeah,
Oh,
Puna right here.
God.
Puna is
Oh,
being blocked. Puna's
God.
didn't beat his guy. Puna still has not beat his guy. And Puna gets half a sack. So like that, when I'm saying
Wait.
like,
Rewind that. How'd that dude
Hold on, this is gonna be
not
the
get
better
him?
view. This is gonna be the better view here.
but again, like
Okay.
that's all I'm saying is like when it comes to a sack, like Puna got half a sack and was the only D lineman who did not beat his man.
Gr-
So like
So,
Green.
Rashad Green gets
Green.
through. Just yeah.
Green.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Green blew up this play. He did honestly like
I know, but still, like full, like oh my. Well, okay,
no, he's because he's
kinda gets
leaning that
tripped here,
direction. Yeah, he
and he
trips.
gets trips there.
Yeah. So like, blowing up the play is totally fine in what you did, but again, Puna's the only guy who doesn't beat his guy and gets half a sack here because he's in the area. Like he touches him when he's going down, and again, that's why when you look
No.
at sacks like Jamal Adams, getting a sack or half a sack doesn't mean you actually did anything.
I don't even think he deserves half a sack there. to
He
be honest.
doesn't, but that's
I
what
mean,
I'm saying.
he's already
gets,
down.
He gets credit for a sack. I saw
Colt
your
McCoy
Frank-
might have
Frank-
levitated. You never know.
Frank, I saw a picture year where Frank Clark got 2 sacks because the quarterbacks fell down and he ran up and touched them, and he got 2 sacks for that.
I mean, Rashad Green didn't get intentionally tripped, so that's just
No,
kind of unlucky.
and what I'm saying is the person who did the best thing on this play was Rashad Green, and it didn't show up in the stats, and at least in the sacks. It showed up in the pressures and the hurries. But that's what I'm saying. Just looking at straight sacks is a bad way to grade how this play went. Like the Green was the best player in this play,
yeah, for
and
sure.
he didn't get a sack. Mayoa did a fine job getting the sack, and Puna didn't beat anybody and got half a sack. So, with that said, Puna's been the best D lineman all year. I am saying that.
Well, I mean, with Carlos Dunlap coming in, I would argue that
He has still
he's
graded
been-
way better than Carlos Dunlap. Carlos Dunlap has done some things, but like we kind of pay attention to the plays he does and not like the 95% of the rest of the game he doesn't do. And that's kind of what I'm trying to explain. Like when someone's like, man, this guy did a really good thing. I'm like, well, what about the rest of the game? Like the sacks and the picks, they're fine, but you have to like in totality, if you get like 4 picks and you're like, man, great year. I'm like, what did you do the rest of the games?
Oh
like,
wait, what? No, I picked 241. What is this? Get
It's
out of here.
231.
Oh, it's 231.
It's how we got here.
231. There it is.
So I got in an argument with the guy on 710 for this play where he claimed that obviously everyone gives credit to Neal on this play, and obviously it's implied, and so Diggs gets credit. I go, no. If anybody was on Twitter at this time, everyone said Diggs. Everyone's like, Diggs, look at Diggs. Diggs did the thing. Pause it right now. No, go back a little bit. Right before the pass, Ingram technically drops this ball, but Neal's in the area. So pause it right now. What is Diggs doing to pick this ball off right here?
He is moving towards where the ball
He
is
is
going.
12 yards behind the ball. So when I say Diggs didn't do a lot for this pick, I mean it. He didn't do a lot for this pick. Neal did a lot for this pick. I'm going to say this again for the people on Twitter. This is Neal's pick. When all of you tweet Diggs, don't tweet Diggs, tweet Neal. Like, he did the thing.
Sean, do you not see his telekinesis here causing him to mess this up? Okay.
I
That's totally his telekinesis.
I can do what Diggs did and catch a 2-mile-an-hour pop-up and stand there. Now, I can't do this part of the play, but I could do the part where he caught it.
Also,
yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I also just at least like the heads-up awareness, the being in position. I understand what you're saying, but
Your position
also
is a safety to stand there. Like,
Yes.
every safety should
Absolutely.
make that play. I'm not
Now,
saying they will, but
he
should.
was toward the sideline, but I also wanted to get on Diggs there for holding the ball in his hand out here and not tucking it.
He thought it was a touchdown. Like right here, I guarantee he thought it was a touchdown, and he didn't realize he wasn't as fast.
And then
as
he was like, "Oh shit!" and then just tucks it.
and look who blitzed. Adams. Well, he didn't affect the ball in any way, but
now did Ryan
like
Neal
right
actually
here.
get there? Like that's
no.
that's
I think it's more of Ingram.
yeah, right off the
Ingram-
hands.
I
But
mean,
he does get in there. So it's
I think in the
yeah.
replay, I think the actual replay showed it. I don't think Neal actually hit him in any way. I think it already bounced off of his hands before Neal got there. Yeah, I think it maybe, but I think it already bounced off. But the idea
It might have jolted a little bit to where he couldn't.
if anyone did
squeeze
anything,
on
it's
it.
Neal
But
and not Diggs.
Yeah.
I don't
So
say
just-
Diggs is like being bad this game. I was just saying like
No, it
everyone's
just
being like,
it fell
everyone
into
on-
his lap.
everyone online is like Diggs. Oh my god, I'm so glad we got.
He was just
Diggs.
in the right place at the right
And I'm
time.
like, Neil
Yeah.
did the play of the two things that happened on this play that I right now as a 33-year-old man cannot do.
Now,
I cannot do Neil's thing. I can do Diggs's thing.
if Diggs from 12 yards back runs up super fucking fast and intercepts that in front of him, then give it to Diggs. But
If he dives or like, because remember a couple years ago in the Houston game when we went on that playoff run in 2013, where there's a double tip and Earl comes out of nowhere and dives for it.
or
Absolutely.
he broke those tackles right there and then takes it to the end zone. Then I
Like-
give props to Diggs.
But like,
But
he caught a pop up.
Yep.
Like again, fine, he was in the position, but that's the position he's supposed to be in. So you're rewarding him for just not being out of position is basically what we're doing at this point. Again, it's you're doing your job on an unblocked sack. You're doing your job. You're not doing anything special. You're doing your job. Oh, this is okay. So right here, pause. Oh, that's actually a pretty good pause. Oh shoot,
I didn't actually pause it. I was trying to adjust my.
right there. Oh shoot. Oh yeah, like he like how.
oh,
the
is
stop.
this 8-10?
Yes.
Yeah.
Russell's
Okay,
just,
yeah, I had this down
he's
too. This is a
just
horrible ball.
Off like that. DK is pretty open on this play. DK is 6'3" and can jump, and you
Also-
you over.
Kind of open too.
But again, still like either
I would,
they're-
yeah, I would take DK with this. Don't get me
well,
wrong.
they're
but-
the same. They're in the same plane. I mean, either way. But I get your point, Kevin. Like,
But
again, he
go-
misses DK by like.
Go back and watch. Let's watch the blockage real quick. Like, okay,
I
so
like the
it's
term
a
blockage, by the way. Like that's
Carson makes a
blockage.
block.
That's a
that
block.
that yeah, he's looking good. Block here, block here, block here. He's
That's
got two men on here. He should not be worried about this. He's got Brown and Carson on that block. He's got
What
two
is the
men
down on
blocking
this
this
play?
guy.
Is it just 1st and 10?
I honestly don't know.
Like, this is a clean pocket. Clean pocket.
To be fair,
Freaks
I
the
think
fuck out.
I think they complete. He throws a nice ball the very next play to DK.
Yeah.
Against first down, but like it's second down. But still, like these plays, you gotta like because you can't. It's not always gonna be second down. Like look how open.
Now I
let's
admit
go.
he is
Look
getting close.
How open DK is.
Yeah.
That is super open in the NFL. Like
I also do want to point out Tyler.
He does have
Is
his
by
hand in
himself.
his hand.
yeah, but like that's the hit you gotta take. That's 20
No,
yards.
This
down
is
field,
obviously his first
and
read,
it should be.
and this
That's
is the
20
check
yards.
down. But yeah,
That's 20 yards downfield. Like that is like, you've got to hit that, Russ. And when I was saying like,
Mhm.
well, wait, why this game? Well, you were saying in the beginning, Matthew, this game's on Russ. It's that right there. You have to hit that, and he didn't even get like. DK jumped so high. He jumped like a what it was a 41 vertical, and he's 6'3", and he didn't even get a hand on it.
Go to 606 real quick because I also want to show another form of why Russ was fucking up.
hold on. I want
and
to.
it's-
This is gonna be a better view of the throw here. I just kind of want to.
So 99 kind of gets close here, and I think he sees it and just freaks out and just makes a
Yeah.
terrible ball.
yeah, that's
Like
just a bad
Dwayne
throw.
Brown and I mean he's in double coverage, so Dwayne Brown and Carson should have that locked up. But
All right, where am I going, Kevin?
go to 606.
In the
Second?
It's really quick. It's where Russell fumbles. But like you're at 3rd and 2 right now, and you're on a good drive, and then Russell just fucks up the handoff. And I mean,
Is it?
There's
but
not much
again,
more
look,
to say.
Anytime there's a botch snap, I think it's both.
But-
It's got to be on both.
still, yeah, I know, but like
well, yeah, well,
this fucks
but
the whole drive.
but
Like they're at
here, fall on
midfield.
it. Just fall on it. Like just fall on it, like
Well,
right
Kevin,
in the beginning.
even if he
Fall right
gets
here,
it,
fall right
it's
here.
Still, they punt it. I mean,
Yeah, but a punt is better than a fumble.
that is true. But I mean,
Yeah.
is it really much?
I'm just saying it was
That's-
just another kind of like thing he was at. Go to 344 in the second. This is a panic throw by Russell.
3:44 in a second.
David Moore is wide the fuck open on this play. I don't get what Russ is doing here. Play it slow too, because
You guys have been mean to David Moore. That's why I didn't throw it to him.
I'm gonna be honest, he's
Um,
been a little bit better than I thought, but I still don't think he should be getting.
There are some plays where he was open and like just Russ fucking missed him. Like it was kind of crazy. And go. Okay. So as we can see here,
This is a big drop.
you know,
This is a
Potty's
massive
kind of,
drop.
yeah, he's kind of getting blocked in, but it's still pretty clean here. Where's David Moore at? David Moore, I think, is
Right
right
here.
Yeah, that's it.
here.
That's him.
Right now, like I get he's looking at DK, He's still got plenty of time. This guy's getting knocked off to the side. Still wide open. I wouldn't take this because you do have the safety over top, but literally David's got nobody down here. He's got one-on-one with his safety. Like, and you have plenty of time, keep it rolling. And then he just, instead of looking for his other reads, he just steps out, runs forward here, and he gets pretty much nothing.
Oh God.
Well, I agree with you. I just don't think he ever saw him, Kevin. Like that's
Yeah.
But that's the thing.
He was never able to come back
panics.
over to that side. I don't
He
think.
needs to stay in the pocket and go to his reads, but he just freaks out because he kind of sees a running lane and he gets 1 yard on this. Or no, this was his 9-yard run. Excuse me. But still, like it's not a first down.
But it's
like
it's a first down play. It's first and you got 7 yards on the first down.
But
like,
at the same time, like he's acting like the pocket's like just stay in the pocket, look through your progressions. He literally took his first read and then freaked out. Like your pocket's fine right here. Like,
well, it got blown
continue
Well,
on.
see, I think I kind of agree with what Kevin is saying, especially because I mean I don't mind him tucking and running here, but I think this guy and this guy will both get the same amount of yardage
actually,
as
Kevin,
Russell did.
As you said, not Tyler. As right now, he should just throw it right here and let them both go get it because Tyler and
yeah, you got one-on-one right here.
Yeah, I mean, these two guys down here in the flat are going to get about the same exact yardage as Russ does in this.
The problem is, like, out here, though, like, by the time he throws that and completes it, the other defenders are going to get there. So Carson's not going to beat all of them. The issue is, I agree, maybe Moore and Tyler the better option. The problem is, like, that ball with Russell on the run is going to be kind of a floater and is going to be able to get there in time. Mm-hmm. He should have thrown that ball earlier. Like you're right in the fact that he's been looking through his progression quicker because he focuses basically on only one side of the field.
See, here's the thing also that Kevin does kind of point out here is like, okay, protection right here, pretty good. Blocked, double team.
Like 99's getting back through here.
But my issue would be how long is he looking at DK? This whole play, he's just looking at DK.
Yeah, he's
not open. Go look on somebody else. Like
look here. Like what are we doing?
He looks at the first or second route and that's all he is doing right now.
And the thing that forces him out of the pocket is this guy who is double teamed. Like he's coming at him, but like, did you need to? You could have moved a little bit to your left and still made a throw. But yeah, I don't necessarily fault the decision because he got positive yardage on a first down play and he didn't turn the ball over. But at the same time, I do agree with Kevin. Like you got to see everybody on the field and know where
102 in the second is a big one. Because he
there's also 220 as well.
He's looking at it. Like in this one, he looks at it. And again, it's 3rd and 16. Like if you don't get it, it's a punt anyways, no matter what. And he looks at the guy he should be throwing it to. And he's like, no, and decides no. So you got one-on-one coverage down here at the bottom. Now I get it's
Jesus.
Or you also, but again, like that's what they want.
Yeah.
It's 3rd and 16. You cannot throw it to DK. That is what they want. But you got right there. No, he wants Hollister. Throw it to Hollister. What do you have to lose? He's past the sticks. He's got one-on-one safety coverage. Throw it to him. He pump faked it too. He's like, ugh. And he just heard Pete Carroll's voice right here. Don't turn the ball over. That right there. He did not throw that. I get there's 2 guys here, but try. It's 3rd and 16. There's a minute left in the half. There's a minute left in the half. That's why when they say like analytics don't say turnovers are always that bad. A turnover in this situation wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world because we drew a face. But again, let's say they get the pick. They're getting the ball in their own 10-yard line with 40 seconds left. That's not like it's basically a punt. Instead, he threw a ball outside here with no chance, and it was incomplete.
Another reason I'm pissed, and why people were mentioning on Twitter too, this is a 55-yard field goal for the next play, and we fucking punt it. Like,
yeah,
Jason Myers made a 60. Like, there's no wind. It's not raining. Why didn't we field goal it at least after this? And we punt the ball. I'm like,
the part that kills me is he pump faked. He saw it. He knew it. and he heard that voice. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, part of it, Matthew, in the beginning was it's parts Pete's philosophy. That right there is Pete's philosophy. Don't turn the ball over. When in reality, a turnover there isn't the worst thing in the world.
I do agree
Take
with
the
you.
shot.
I do agree with you.
In modern NFL, the wide receiver has the advantage. A PI could easily happen.
Also, I was going to ask you, Sean, because I think you know offhand, how much is Jason Myers getting paid right now?
2.
Like, do you know his contract is what?
2.4 million.
Okay, I was about to say it's
Snapped
probably
to
around 3
25,
million.
so you got
Why are we
1
paying a
second,
kicker $3 million to not make a 55-yard attempt on a field goal?
2
Like,
seconds,
what the fuck are we doing?
3
Like,
seconds.
if you're not going to let, if you're not going to let
4
Jason Myers kick a
seconds.
55-yard attempt when there's no rain, no wind, like look at the like right now. Pause it. Look at that field goal post. Do you see any wind? Do you see the flags flying?
Kevin, it's 3.6 million. Shit. It was too.
Yeah,
it was that.
Why are we paying a kicker $3.6 million on a 55-yard attempt if we're going to punt the ball? Jason Myers proved
it goes up each year. It was 2 last year. It's 3.6, 4.3, and 5.
He's made a 60-yarder already this year. And literally, there's no rain, no wind, and we punt the ball. Pete, what the fuck are you doing?
Actually, I totally lied. That's the cap hit. It's 2.6 this year. I'm correct. It's 2.6.
Still, I don't care. Like, what the hell are you doing, Pete?
I also think
field goal.
My biggest issue is like the time that he has to make a decision. Like he snaps it at 25, and then 26, 27. Well, it's slow motion. 27. 28.
And Hollister has
29,
one-on-one. I get it,
and then he
Hollister.
moves.
It's only Hollister though, but like
he's looking at DK. He wants to feed DK.
No,
I get it because
he was looking at Hollister. He looked at Hollister because DK was already on the other side of the ball. He was looking.
No, he pumped it.
At the same time,
he does the pump to here to
DK
Hollister.
comes across. That's DK coming across.
No, he's not leaning back like that to throw it to DK 10 yards downfield. He's gonna chuck it.
True.
But like, that's the part that kills me.
Safe, stupid decision.
Yeah, he saw the thing we all saw, and he just didn't want to turn it over. When I'm like, take the shot, man. Like,
all right, we got time for one more. What do you want to see?
You see every Sunday, we're like,
oh god,
you have one more. Can I do the? Okay,
let's do 2 more. We'll do 2 more.
Can I do 233 in the third? Because I want to see what you guys think. Is this Jamal Adams guy he's supposed to be covering? It's a Giants touchdown. Go the other angle. The other angle, because you'll see
somebody's
Bobby's pissed. So Jamal Adams is over here, and it looks like man coverage, and it looks like he's supposed to be covering the running back. I want to see what you guys see. Because Shaq has the tight end, and Bobby is pointing to Jamal Adams covering nobody.
Yeah, I think Bobby is pretty mad at Jamal Adams.
I didn't count that against Jamal Adams.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Bobby looks straight at Jamal Adams right there. Like, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah. Generally,
I think that's Jamal Adams' guy. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you are right.
Yes.
In this play, and it looks
he literally afterwards turns to Jamal and says,
if you
come here, like, we're gonna have a talk, bitch.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, people are like, I get that he's been good on run defense and everything like that, but you have to. That's clear, and you could easily stop that too, Jamal Adams. You're a good enough player to stop that. That's really bad. That's really bad. He looks completely lost and doesn't even move.
Well, I think he was trying to play he got fooled by the run and the blockers. He absolutely got fooled. But the line goes this way,
but and
then he follows and he just misses.
Point.
Yeah, I know.
To be disciplined, you are covering the running back. Follow the running back. That's your job.
He just follows the lineman, and then it's an easy play action. Nobody in front of him.
He doesn't even play action. He turns the wrong way. like he turns the other way. Like, follow the running back. It can't be a play action without the ball.
No, the play action is the line going the other way.
I know, but you're not looking at the line. His job is to cover the running back. If the running back goes a certain way, he went the opposite way the running back was actually going.
I think Bobby hopefully gave it to him on the sideline.
But
that's what I hope.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when people say like coverage is not that, coverage is a big deal for a safety. That was big. That's 7 points that
Kevin,
there.
You got one more? You got one more you want?
Oh man, I got like 4. I'm trying to think of which one I want to do. Man. Oh, which one do I have?
I will say on the touchdown that Russell threw, he was a very nice ball.
It was. It was.
Come on, Kevin, pick one. I got
Go
some
go to 52 seconds in the third.
52 seconds in the third. All right.
Okay. My notes are here are DK is one on one, Tyler is
Yep.
wide fucking open, and Russ takes a sack. Unforgivable is what I put down there.
They
So
clearly
yeah, you got
doubled.
one on one.
Wow, they clearly just
One on one right here.
Go back up a little
keep
bit.
it
Go back.
going.
No, back up a little
Oh,
bit before I
back,
want
back,
to.
back,
I want to show something. So right as he hikes it, so Russell can see this. He's top pause it. He's already over here. You know, down here it's just DK 1-on-1, like what Kevin said. It's already DK 1-on-1. They're telling you right now. Right as Russell catches the ball, and Russell right now is looking at DK, so he knows, like Kevin said, it's 1-on-1. Right as the play is snapped.
All right. Blocking, pause. Blocking, blocked, double, block. You also have a running back here still, blocked. Like you have a nice pocket. All right, keep it going. Tyler gets free here in a moment.
He's wide open right
Okay.
now.
Well, I mean,
Like,
the
he's
ball,
already-
the ball should be out.
That's Swaim. That's Swaim. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Swaim. Swaim is wide open.
I mean,
but
the
yeah,
ball
Tyler-
should, the ball should be out.
the ball should completely be out.
What the fuck are we doing, Russell? And he freaks out.
Swaim is still super open. He's getting even
Yeah.
more open.
Like
The problem,
what?
I
what do-
think, I think at the end here, he rolls to the side where Tyler and DK are. And if he rolled to the side Swaim is at, go back up a little bit, Matthew. If he roll, so when he gets in trouble, he does the patented roll. He rolls away, and Swaim, if he rolls this way, is like, if he just rolls the opposite way and trusts his other receivers, like, we're looking at 30 yards, easy, a wide open 30 yards.
What was go back to the beginning? What was the downage on this? Was it third and something? I think this was a third and something. Like go at the very beginning
First
where
and
it
10.
shows. Oh, it's first and 10. Oh, okay.
Even
But still,
worse.
like that's a first down. Like you could even have a touch. If you trust DK enough, that's a touchdown.
Or again,
Like
take
I think
this-
you can make it, but
you can even take the Swaim easy
Also,
lob
so-
for 35 yards. Like, you don't even have
it's
to risk it.
Like
I'm just curious where he's looking. Like, where are his eyes on this one? Like, if he's
and the
So he's
moment that
looking-
he
he's
sees
looking
like a
towards
linebacker,
DK.
looking in the middle, so
He's
he's
seeing
I think
Tyler.
he's seeing Tyler, yeah, and then
right
he's looking
here.
at DK, sees
He
Tyler
never
again.
even looks at
48's coming.
Swaim. And now he looks at Swaim now, but doesn't run that way.
he's
He
still
doesn't run
5 yards out. He's still 5 yards out and could have made a throw right there. Just stand and deliver, and he's just like freak.
The part that gets me reminded real quick, Matthew, is only at the right before he rolls. No, where you can right before he never looks towards the right side where Swaim is completely open, like standing completely open.
He had plenty of time.
Again,
He's really
staring
only on the
these-
left side of the
he's
field.
staring these two receivers down. Now he looks right here, right there. He looked at Swaim and chose to roll away from it.
Like
He just made
when he's
poor
on that, like
decisions.
when the spy is literally spying and not
Update your
rushing,
computer,
like
Matthew.
if you're not going to take that DK shot, go
Yeah,
elsewhere.
he's
Like he literally was
staring
just
guys
like
down.
he's like I might want the DK shot, and then
And
then the spy's like, oh, I'm just going to come get you.
And people wonder why DK's
Yeah.
numbers are so good because Russell's just staring him down every time.
Progression. You got to go through a progression. You gotta it
Yep.
should be bam, bam, bam,
He's
bam.
being very slow on his progressions, and he doesn't trust his O line. Like he's had clean
And that's
pockets.
a
as we've
that's a
shown.
terrible
There's even
combo.
more.
That's a terrible combo, Kevin. If he
There's
doesn't,
even more. Like fans, if you have time, like go look at 9:45 and 8:53 in the
Or
fourth. Like David
14-17 in the fourth. He doesn't take a shot. He pump fakes.
9:45. David Moore is open in the bottom, and then on 8:53, Tyler Lockett is standing on the 40, like literally the number 40, and he's wide the fuck open, and literally doesn't take a shot. To him.
DK has one-on-one on the top of the screen with 14-17 in the fourth, and he one-on-one, and he doesn't take a shot. He pump fakes it again like he did with Hollister.
I
Didn't do it.
don't know what's. Oh yeah, actually,
Like Kevin said,
I had clean pocket and open DK. Why only 1 yard run? That's what I put.
Yep. And it's what Kevin said. It's a spotty O-line in the past, and Russell being off is a terrible combo. Or
The
not going
ghosts of Russell's
going through-
O line pass
Yeah.
are are affecting him.
It's his
and in
it's
his
it's
decision
Russell
making.
it's bad O-line play and not going through progressions. When you have a bad O-line, you have to get through
And-
progressions quicker, and Russell's
just
doing the opposite.
hearing
and going
Pete in his head,
slower.
don't turn it over. Yeah.
Just-
He's
Just
literally
take a
hearing
shot,
the ghost
man.
of Pete.
If DK is that elite receiver, one-on-one, trust him.
Well, also, like, I
And plus
understand not
two-
turning the ball
oh, go
over,
ahead.
but like, you have to take risks. Every play is not going to be wide open. Every play is not going to
Yeah.
be perfect. You have to at least, try some tight windows, throw some tough balls, and
When
see what
he-
happens.
Also, when he has that one-on-one coverage, like at least 40% of the time, the receiver is going to PI on DK, and we're going to at least get a flag.
We've seen
Even if we don't catch it, we can literally get flags from it and get downfield because of it.
we had a
Because
third and like
DK is so good.
well, not even DK, Tyler. We had a third and
Well,
like
like, yeah.
24 in week 1 in Atlanta. We threw a deep ball to Tyler, got a PI, got a first down, scored a touchdown on that drive. Like
Yeah.
when it's
Like-
third and a billion, like on that play I showed with Holster, throw it deep. What's the worst that happens? You aren't gonna get from that little dunk to DJ Dallas who catches that 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. You're not gonna get 24 more yards on that play. You need to go take the shot.
All right.
But
well,
like the Arizona game.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say the
We're
Arizona
mad.
game, there was like what, two or three PIs where like literally that DK caused himself or unsportsmanlike conducts because DK was beating the living crap out of Patrick Pierce or Drake Patrick and literally got us yards downfield. Like, trust that. Like, it's going to happen when you see that. Even if DK doesn't catch the ball, like there's a solid chance because he's going to outmuscle his dude that the corner is going to have to do PI to make sure it's not a touchdown or a catch. Like, just trust it. Go ahead.
All right. Well, tweet at us some of your thoughts on the Seahawks and the Giants and the Seahawks taking on the Jets. Let us know on Twitter. I am at Beatty_Matt. Sean is at Sean_Beatty. Kevin is at Kev Believes with the first E and Believes being a 3. Smash that subscribe button on YouTube. Leave us a comment on YouTube. Go to the Eli Network. Follow our page with all of our podcasts. Hopefully that'll get going fairly soon. But let us know what you think. Gentlemen, before we get out of here, let's do some quick rest of NFC West predictions. New England at the LA Rams Thursday. Who you got? I'm taking the Pats. Just because I don't want the Rams to win. I think the Rams might win, but I'm gonna take the Pats.
I'm gonna take the Rams. I think the Rams will win. I want the Pats to win.
I think the Pats will
to
win
win.
with the momentum, actually.
I want the Pats to win.
Nope.
But the
I said
Rams
it.
will win because
Said it.
momentum's not real and you're stupid.
Momentum
So
is
I
a
don't know.
scientific
Like
principle.
honestly,
What momentum do they
defense,
have
even
over
though
the
they're a little
Rams?
bit-
The Rams just slaughtered Arizona.
I don't know about
I will say
slaughter,
this
but-
though. Chargers defense, even though they're a little bit banged up, is a legit defense, and they dropped 45 on him. Like,
Yeah, you want to talk about
It could
beating
be-
the
it's possible.
Patriots just beat down the Chargers. Thank
I
you.
heard I have a buddy
But
who's a
the
big
Rams
Charger
are
fan and
better.
said they played they were mad at Joey Bosa. He didn't show up at all, had no effort. They were just pissed. Not Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa. No wait, Joey. I was
Maybe.
right
One of the
first.
Bosas.
maybe
one of those-
Aaron Donald won't show up. No, I'm just kidding. He'll
Okay.
He always
Um,
shows up.
Arizona at the
yeah.
New York Giants. I'm taking the
Arizona.
Cardinals. Yeah. It's tough. so.
Yeah.
Just pick Kevin. Just say Arizona. Say the
God.
words Arizona. God.
Yeah.
And then last one, Washington at San Francisco. I'm going to take Washington in that one.
I'm gonna take San Francisco.
Damn. I will take San Fran only because I trust that O-line and they're going to run it. So like pass rush is not really a thing when they're running the ball the majority of the time.
Yeah. And they're gonna do little like screens and
I
things like
don't know how good that front four is at stopping the run. I haven't looked at what Washington's run defense is.
They're
so
like-
I can't.
that. Overall, they grade as like the number 8 D line in the league.
So I'll say San Fran.
Okay. All right. Well, let us know your thoughts on Twitter. Go ahead and leave us comments wherever you can. I might actually be on Twitter for this game since I won't be on a stream. I won't be behind everyone else, so I won't have any spoilers on Twitter, so that might be nice. But let us know what you think, and we will see you next time on Washington East to West Sports.